High five.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Rich's Top 5.
All right. Top 5 what-ifs of the 2024 season presented by TurboTax. Here we go. Number 5, simply put, what if the Falcons benched Kirk Cousins earlier? What if they decided during the middle of that late season swoon? What if they decided before December to go ahead and do it? What if they took a look at some of his great performances and said, you know what, appreciate it, Kirk. We're just not going to ride it out here because we do see enough out of Penix, and we're going to make a move. That would have been bold, right, Chris? I mean,
it would have been bold, but I think you could have made a case for it after the Broncos game. They got absolutely smoked in Denver, 38-6. Kirk was awful, maybe the worst game he's ever played as a pro, and you could have realistically made the switch there. Did they have a bye week after that? And
you're talking about week 11,
yeah,
and they had lost 2 in a row, coming off the bye, visiting. Having the Chargers in their house. You could have done it there.
Yeah.
Right. And instead what they did is...
They wrote it out. They lost 2 more games. Kirk beat the Raiders, but
barely.
He was again awful and got benched after that. You could have done it after Denver. Maybe saved yourself two more wins.
Yeah, they were 6-5 at that point in time and finished 8-9.
Yeah. Still could have won the division, gotten to the playoffs with Penix.
Number 4 on the list. This one is wild. What if the Commanders' Week 8 Hail Mary against the Bears actually fell incomplete? if the low percentage play was actually as low percentage as every other play is, because don't forget the Chicago Bears at the time were 4-2 coming off a bye on a 3-game win streak. They had just beaten Jacksonville in London, and if the Bears beat the Commanders and they're 5-2. I know the Bears then went to Arizona and lost by 20, and then they had the Patriots come in and beat them 19-3 at home. But those were residual effects of this Hail Mary.
I totally agree.
Based on the fact of, what happened with Stevenson stunting in front of the fans, and then the reaction that the team had maybe internally to Eberflus's handling of all of it. I don't know if the Bears' season would have been any different, but you take a look at the Washington Commanders and how they finished up. It definitely wasn't going to be that much of an inflection point because of the way they finished up.
But, Rich, the way they did finish up,
they would have been 5-3 instead of 6-2.
But they won all those games at the end of the year, not the Titans game notwithstanding. The last 4, they all won on the last play of the game. So maybe they don't have the confidence that they're going to pull out a game like that if the Hail Mary doesn't fall complete.
That's number 4 on the list.
Maybe they don't make the playoffs.
Number 3, they're all going to get more and more obvious as we go along. Number 3, what if Jerry Jones had really gone all in and gotten Derrick Henry for his Cowboys? What would have happened? You take a look at what Henry did
in the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, about that, but you
speak on it, TJ.
I don't know. I honestly,
it also makes the Ravens less than. So maybe
it makes the Ravens less.
Maybe
than.
They don't win the division. Maybe they don't win a playoff game.
Don't forget the Ravens came into Dallas with Derrick Henry.
Right.
Took a big lead. Yet another one of those teams early on before Dak got hurt that just blew the doors off of the Jones Mahal before halftime and made games non-competitive right from jump. What if he was actually there? I mean, we could keep going on and on. What if Jerry had actually signed CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott on time? Would their cap situation be better right now? Would the season have gone better because these guys weren't held up the entire time?
Also, the Ravens beat the Bengals by a combined 4 points. Maybe they lose both those games, and now suddenly Cincinnati's in the playoffs. Maybe Baltimore's at home.
Number 2 on this list of what-ifs of the 2024 season. What if Christian McCaffrey had been healthy all year long? What if the Niners came in to the season and it was McCaffrey's world, and the McCaffrey of last year showed up this year? I know they still had a bunch of other injuries.
Jordan Mason was also really good.
I know, but
it's
not the same, dude. Not the same. Just because he was doing well for your fantasy team and was compiling stats, it's just not the same. I think the NFC might be different. And I know that the Niners had other things happen. Ayuk gets his leg blown up out of the blue. But what if McCaffrey had been healthy all year long? Number 1, it's as obvious as the nose on everybody's face. What if the Giants had decided to stick with Saquon Barkley? It's self-explanatory. It is self-explanatory. And Mayock had it perfect. He's like, the Giants had a plan. Their problem was it played out on HBO. And that's, by the way, from Mayock, a guy who had more, who was, I guess, goaltending in his Hard Knocks for the Raiders back in the day with Antonio Brown and Gruden.
Right.
He was standing on his head like Dominic Hasek stopping pucks for that one.
Oof.
Yeah, that Hard Knocks got Mayock cleansed. But do the Eagles do what they're doing? Does Kenneth Gainwell, is he the guy? I don't know if that would have been their plan. Had Saquon not fell in their laps,
maybe they throw it. Maybe they throw it more. And it's a bigger Jalen Hurts year. He didn't even have 3,000 yards this year. Maybe he throws for 5,000.
I don't even know if the Eagles would have done what they did. He's the MVP of the team.
They definitely wouldn't be in the Super Bowl.
No?
I think we could say that.
And the Giants, I don't know.
Probably would have went 6-11.
Which is their point. Like, why are we paying all that money to somebody that wouldn't affect wins and losses immediately?
Right.
That's your top 5. What
we need one more?
Sure, why not?
All right, we'll get one more.
And in terms of the concept of, what if the Hail Mary had fallen to the ground? What would the Commanders' season been like? What would the Bears' season been like? What if Jerry Jones had Derrick Henry with a star on the side of his helmet and Derrick Henry wouldn't have been on the Ravens? How different would those seasons have been? What if Isaiah Likely was a size 13?
I weirdly think not a lot changes in terms of the scope of the season.
I don't know. Obviously, they would have had to have. They would have gone for 2 to try and win that game. There still would have been one more play to play it out. But you see what I'm saying is, what if the Chiefs had started 0-1 and then had Burrow come in the next week, and then they go to Atlanta the week after that? What if they were 0-1 instead of 1-0, and they lost to the Ravens? The Ravens were a game better. How would that have played out?
Is this also the multiverse where they don't have Derrick Henry?
No, they have Derrick Henry.
Okay.
I mean, they had Derrick Henry that night. As you know, they actually used him in the first half of that game.
Yeah, but he didn't do that much if I
No,
recall,
but I'm just saying, what if the Chiefs had lost week 1? Is another way of saying it.
Yeah.
Just a food for thought here on that front. How different would it have been if the Chiefs started 0-1 and instead weren't undefeated all the way through the first half of the season?
Right.
Now, I could choose a ton of other what ifs.
Oh, I had a huge list.
Oh, I know. Like, what if they didn't block the field goal against Denver?
Right.
What if the snap didn't go off of Aiden O'Connell's chest against the Chiefs?
Oh, that's just for the Chiefs. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of what ifs for the Chiefs, but I just went back to week 1 to see if there would have been a domino effect throughout the rest of the season.
What if the Bills didn't trade the pick for Xavier Worthy?
I hear you. Would Xavier Worthy still been off the board before 32? You never know.
Well, the Bills
what if the Bills had taken him instead? Oh, okay. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.